I saw a grand total of 47 shows in 2023, and I have officially narrowed them all down to my top 10. Well, kind of. I want to begin with some honorable mentions. So in alphabetical order, A Doll's House. Jessica Chastain gives a career-defining performance, and I am officially a Jamie Lloyd stan. Bob Fosse's Dancin', some of the best dancers I've ever seen on stage, and it really made me want to take dance classes again for that reason. Goodnight Oscar. Sean Hayes delivers a career best performance, maybe one of the best performances I have ever seen in my life, and the finale was worth the price of admission alone. Gutenberg the Musical. More than 10 years since they first appeared on Broadway in the Book of Mormon, Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds proved themselves once again to be the best comedy duo working today. Harmony. Barry Manilow's musical, more than 25 years in the making, is a true story that is relevant now than ever before. Jaja's African Hair Braiding, a beautiful slice-of-life play from the master of world building that is Jocelyn Bioh. Leopoldstadt. Tom Stoppard's two-time Tony Award-winning play is epic as it is heartbreaking. Brendan Uranowitz gave a well-deserved Tony Award-winning performance. Life of Pi, the most visually stunning piece of theater I saw this year without a doubt, and I'm shocked this didn't get nominated for Best Play. The Sign in Sidney Bernstein's Window. Oscar Isaac and Rachel Brosnahan gave new life to an underappreciated piece of American drama. Monty Python's Spamalot. While some of the jokes may not have aged well, it is a staple of American musical comedy that we rarely see nowadays. And finally, The Thanksgiving Play. Larissa Fasthorse's biting satire that will have you cringing one moment and then laughing out loud the next. Now, quick disclaimer up front before we get into the top 10. This was a tough decision for me because I saw so much amazing theater this year, and it was really, really hard to choose. So a lot of my list is going to include a lot of ties. So if you see a tie on my list, it's for that reason alone. Starting things off at number 10, which is our first tie on the list, Crazy for You and The Mousetrap, the two shows I saw on really my first ever West End theater trip, and needless to say, I think I made the right choice on this one for my first trip. As far as Crazy for You goes, Charlie Stemp is literally the most charismatic performer I think I've ever seen. If this transfers to Broadway and he is not in it, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. Meanwhile, The Mousetrap is a staple of British theater, running for over 70 years as the world's longest running show, period. And every theater kid in America wanting to take a trip to London needs to experience this play at least once in their life. Coming in at number 9 is Here Lies Love, and as you can see by the sticker, I got to attend the very first preview of the David Byrne Fatboy Slim musical about Imelda Marcos. It was my first time ever going to a first Broadway preview, and as the old song goes, I had the absolute time of my life. For my number 8, Shucked, the most original musical I saw all year, and shout out to Catherine Quinn for being a part of it. Who knew that a small musical about corn could be so much more? I'm shocked that it's closing way too soon, and if you missed it on Broadway, definitely catch this one on tour. Number 7 is the second tie on my list, with Fat Ham and Pearly Victorious, a non-Confederate romp through the Cotton Patch. Without debating, the two best plays I saw this year, courtesy of the National Black Theater, an organization that I will definitely be keeping my eyes on in the future. Number 6, Some Like It Hot. This is not just another movie to musical adaptation. This feels like a lost golden age musical comedy with modern sensitivities, featuring Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman's best score since Hairspray, a history-making, well-deserved Tony-winning performance from J. Harrison G., and probably the best sequence I have ever seen in contemporary American musical theater. Like Shucked, if you missed this one on Broadway, definitely catch this one on tour. Number 5 is coincidentally the 5-time Tony Award winner for this year's Best Musical, Kimberly Akimbo, also known as the musical that makes your shitty life better. A perfect example of a musical in the post-Sondheim era, Kimberly Akimbo contains a feel-good book, charming performances, and a very catchy score. Number 4 is the last tie on my list, and it is actually a 3-way tie between Parade, Sweeney Todd, and Merrily We Roll Along. Until the Day I See Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club in Sunset Boulevard, these 3 musical revivals were some of the best I have ever experienced on a Broadway stage, and ones that I will definitely be thinking about for the rest of my life. My next 2 shows on my list were both shows I saw 4 times on Broadway because I loved them so much. Starting off at number 3, & Juliet, my favorite jukebox musical ever. I've seen this one 4 times. I love this show so much. If you're lucky enough to get tickets to this show, go see it. It's got amazing performances across the board. Some of the best singing: Lorna Courtney, Stark Stans, Betsy Wolfe, Justin David Sullivan, Ben Jackson Walker. Everyone is just giving it their all. The choreography is amazing. Like, I just love & Juliet. If you're lucky enough, go see it. It is the best jukebox musical, in my opinion, since Mamma Mia. Finally, at number 2, How to Dance in Ohio. I just love this show so much. I love it. It means so much to me as somebody on the autism spectrum. I have auditioned for this show twice now. Even though I didn't get it, it just feels so good to see our stories finally being told on Broadway 8 times a week. Please go see How to Dance Ohio and support stories like this. It's not doing well currently, but if you can, please go see this show. I'm urging you right now. Before I get into my number one, I just want to say I saw so much amazing theater this year. Maybe this is probably one of the best years for theater, like maybe ever, but I don't think any show this year has left quite an impact on me as this one. I saw this in October. It was very early in the fall, and going in, it was one of the most anticipated shows, I think, ever, perhaps. Immediately after I left, it was one I couldn't stop thinking about, and it's probably the best theater going experience and the most memorable theater going experience I've had of the past maybe 5, 10, 15 years. And it's one I'm going to be thinking about for years to come. So with that said, I'm thrilled to announce that my number one show of 2023 is Here We Are, the final musical from the late great Stephen Sondheim, and truly the ultimate swan song from the greatest composer in the history of the American stage. I am so thrilled I got to experience this. I really hope this doesn't transfer to Broadway, and honestly it's for the best if it doesn't, but I do hope we get a cast recording, it transfers to London, and hell, I hope we get a pro shot of this thing so it is preserved for generations to come.